better jokes. These are the facts. Only 3 court-ordered reruns have previously taken place in history. That is, only 3 presidential elections have been overturned and a rerun done in Ukraine, in Austria, and in the Maldives. Their repeat elections respectively registered 77.3%, 73.1%, and 91.4% turnouts, figures which were similar or higher than the nullified elections. Uhuru's rerun turnout was not much more than 20%. In addition, all the 3 runoff elections resulted in a better election. That is, democracy and rule of law were affirmed, not undermined. So after making history with the nullification, we are on course to make history again by being the only country where the repeat election has been challenged in court. Kenyans have shown in the last few months that they will no longer tolerate the theft of elections and the destruction of democracy. That fact is now certainly known in the United States, as I discovered in the last week in my many encouraging meetings there. I had meetings with the leaders of the Congress and the leaders in the State Department, political think tanks in the United States. I cannot disclose what was discussed, as these were all confidential. However, I can quote what Ambassador Mark Bellamy, the former Director for African Affairs in the State Department and a former U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, said at the public event at the Center for Strategic International Studies, where I delivered a lecture on the 9th of November. In Ambassador Bellamy's words, Kenyans have shown that they do not accept authoritarianism or strongman rule prevailing in many parts of Africa. Kenya is therefore in political disarray. A sizable portion of Kenyans doesn't accept the legitimacy of the second 26 October election, and a third election does not offer a way out of this crisis, unquote. These are very powerful and very pertinent words. A third election does not offer a way out of the crisis because, at the moment, the IEBC is riddled with criminal elements who will never allow a credible election to be held. Even as we sympathetically go about our campaign for democratic change and the rule of law, we have been repeatedly accused by Jubilee and his friends of trying to seize power unlawfully. From the very beginning of the election campaign season, the Jubilee government has been accusing us of planning crimes which everyone now knows they themselves have been committing. In fact, beginning with the killing of Christmas Sando and the grossly rigged election that our courageous Supreme Court annulled, they have plunged this country into a climate of fear and terror. The latest example was the Supreme Court's inability to manage a quorum after the Deputy Chief Justice, driver and bodyguard was shot and wounded. In which democratic country in the world has the Supreme Court been intimidated into not meeting for a critical case? Let us be clear. The prolonged political and economic crisis that we have been living with for months now is the responsibility solely of the Jubilee regime's actions. Yesterday, it brought Nairobi's economy to a standstill, preventing workers, traders, travelers, and students from going on with their normal lives. It is clear now that the longer Uhuru tries to achieve his dictatorial goals, the more the entire economy will suffer. Kenyans certainly will never accept the result of another rigged election. There are many pathways out of the current crisis, but NASA won't accept any that rewards Uhuru for his rigging. We have been brought to this story's pass by the criminal desire of the regime to hold on to power by force. We now are being dragged back into our very dark past, and all the extraordinary and transformative gains that we have made since the end of the Kanu regime in 2002 have gone up in flames. The rights and freedoms enshrined in the 2010 Constitution and the economic gains that have empowered so much enterprise and opportunity have been replaced under Jubilee by open repression and severe economic and financial hardship. From next week, we will be updating Kenyans on a continuous basis on the full range of actions and plans by NASA to reclaim and defend democracy and ensure electoral justice in the country. Thank you.